Thank you very much. By the names of Calix Felix Kato, the students of Bachelors of Arts in Music. So my opinion is that we've gathered here to talk about corruption, which is a general problem for the whole country. And I've seen like we are pointing at certain people that they do corruption and not checking our inner minds or our inner man. Because corruption is an action which is influenced by men. And each one of us have ever done corruption. But if I'm to ask who are those that have ever done corruption, you'll find that no one will raise up the hand, which means we are lying to ourselves. And even the meeting we've done here to fight corruption is also a lie. Because if we are to fight corruption, we should know that at each level of us we are corrupt. Now we are taking ourselves not to be corrupt because we are taking what we take to be little, and we are pointing at those people who are taking what we call as big, is affecting the whole country. So I suggest that let's examine ourselves, let's check our hearts, yeah, because it's originating from the hearts. Even among us here, there are people who are also corrupt. So even if you feel like you're not corrupt, it's just because you've not seen you're guilty. That's the fact. But if we can think about it, you will see that it's just a matter of changing our minds on how we consider about others. You understand? And with that, we shall not need other gatherings like this. Thank you very much.
I think until the power goes back to the people, that corruption can be fought. Why? Because there is no way that you're going to tell me a minister has been put into a certain position and has been chosen by the president or by anybody, but not the people, that will be serving the people. When he's put there by a certain person, but rather the people, he will serve that person. So I believe until power goes back to the people, that corruption can be fought. Thanks so much.
Joseph Nsamba, who received a warning letter from the Vice Chancellor 2 days ago. The number one perpetrator of corruption in Uganda is abuse of power. Abuse of power. This country, there's a lot of abuse of power. Number one, let me just give a live example. The new Chancellor, Dr. Crispus Chionga. The Vice Chancellor is very well aware that the select committee which was set chose Professor William Bazeyo and Professor Charles Warner. And the President deliberately chose a political figure to become the Chancellor. And the Vice Chancellor humbly accepted, zero resistance. The number one perpetrator of corruption is abuse of what? Power. When Magufuli was in office, just 1.5 years, everything was in order. So you cannot come here and lecture us about corruption, yet whatever you are doing is just abuse of power and you're not doing whatever. So not until people in office, wherever you are, whether you're the Vice Chancellor, whether you are the head of anti-corruption unit, whether you're the dean of students, you stop abusing power. Corruption, we are here we're just wasting time. We must respect officers, we must do the right thing. Number two.
Honorable, I want to put one thing clear. We're not wasting time. People sacrifice time to come and be here. Okay? We're having a conversation. Let us just talk about how we can better the conversation to be.
Mr. Moderator, for emphasis.
Okay.
For emphasis,
yes.
People must stop abusing power.
No, that is clear. That is very clear.
Number two, double standards. Number two, double standards.
That is very clear. First rate. Honorable, let's have decorum. I want us to have order in this conversation. You are insulting people who left their responsibilities to come and be part of this. Even the students.
But I'm speaking the truth.
You get?
It is quite evident.
So we are wasting time?
No, we're not wasting time, but
yes, that's what I'm talking about.
We must emphasize this.
You emphasize, but don't say people are wasting time. Students have come here to listen, to talk. Understand? So you can proceed with your submission.
Okay. Number two.
But we are not wasting time.
Number two, double standards. It's very odd that the president will come and say, oh, we are fighting corruption, and then you choose a person who has been convicted of corruption to head an anti-corruption unit. What kind of double standards is this? If you are sane enough, how do you believe that that person is really fighting corruption? The new anti-corruption leader, David Kalemera, for the URA anti-corruption, that person was convicted of corruption. The track record is clear. He has corruption history, and you go ahead and you appoint them. Honestly, if you are really sane, will you believe that that person is whatever he's saying is true? Anyway, in summary, I have a solution, Nakalema. If you are really serious about corruption, the problem about corruption in Uganda is that the government has deliberately shifted a lot of money from the middle class to politics. That is wrong. Service delivery is in the middle class of doctors, teachers, journalists, and you have deliberately frustrated the middle class. There's no reason as to why, if a doctor is really well paid, would go to fight for a government position. Because that's where you have put the money. Everyone is interested now shifted to politics because that's where you have put the money. Boris Johnson left his job as prime minister to go and work as a columnist in the Daily Mail because the middle class is empowered. So, if we are really patriotic enough and we are serious about corruption, money has to shift to where the real service delivery is. The middle class of journalists, lawyers, teachers, doctors, that's where the real service delivery is. Politicians money to send a politiki. If you go to that parliament, 80% of those people have no professional skills. They're just politicking every day, 24/7. So we must look for ideal solution. And one of them, you must deliberately shift money back to the middle class. You can't say that you're paying a doctor who's working 24/7, 1 million, and then a politician who is doing nothing, 30 million. Who is really giving back to the people? A lawyer spends nights and then you're not paying them. So, Nakalema, I believe one of the ideal solutions to corruption is because you have shifted everyone's attention. I see no reason to go in the hospital and work for 24 hours. And you're giving me 1 M. Then there's a politician who is sleeping 24/7 and you're giving them 30 million. Honestly, I'm saying enough, I swear the opportunity is. I'll shift to become a politician. That's why you're going to see someone will die. Nowadays, politics is do or die. An election nowadays needs an average of 500 million. But why would it actually need that? It is because you have deliberately shifted the money from where the real service delivery is to the political class. I really want to recommend you that if you are really serious about fighting corruption, you must shift money back to the middle class. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Auditorium, first year student in CIS. Yeah, for me, it's difficult to end corruption due to incapable leaders and able leaders. In Uganda here, some leaders are incapable to do their work because there are some leaders like minister, like of finance, you just put the money in certain sector, you don't bother going there to look what that money has done there, which has created hard moment to fight against corruption. For example, those money which they send in the deep villages there to put in circles to help those people who are in poverty, raise them from poverty. That money didn't do any work because the leaders were not incapable. So corruption should be ended by selecting incapable and able leaders in order to raise people from poverty, especially those farmers from there. They are struggling so much. They don't have capital. That's what I have. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Akampura Jovita. So I'm drawing my point. Joan stated that the members of parliament. It is true, the members of parliament in Uganda are very many compared to India. Let me take an example of India. India has many people, but they have few members of parliament. So a lot of money is being invested in our MPs who take much money. So, and the people are affected in many ways, the hospitals, education facilities. For example, in the villages, this is affecting the people. So I want to talk to Kano so that they can speak to the president to speak to the president so that they can reduce the number of the MPs that we have.
Good afternoon to you. My name is Edith. I'm the current chief whip of the Guild House. My submission is we should accept that the situation right now, we're having a cancer, as His Excellency has stated. So today's topic should be empowering us, the youth, to create ourselves or to evaluate ourselves so that we stop this cancer from enriching for all of us. I beg to submit.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. What I have noted first, most people are talking about leaders, the leaders that we vote. That's why Honorable Semuju said, if you are seeing that you have failed to do what you want, come in Parliament and represent the people. My major point, 3 days back, I was given a dismissal letter from university, and and the point was, point A, that I made a serious allegation on a supervisor or invigilator about corruption. Anyone can read. We were doing a retake. A student came. I don't know where he passed, because we have invigilators. We are supposed to present a university ID and a permit. After I was called by the school committee, I told the dean, I don't know where this student passed. After doing the paper, I went back to my job. They called me that the supervisor is seeing 2 papers, same details. I told him, I don't have a ghost that did another paper. The paper is in my handwriting. So, I again informed them, these people called me that give us something to stop the thing. The dean told me, you are not supposed to talk about the invigilator. I told her, I have evidences from more than 10 students who have been bribing them to pass. And they just gave me a dismissal letter from university. And here, Makerere, I'm a student here. Education, I'm a student of education, doing history and Uganda. There was a lady, he said, I told them, can I appeal? They said, you have a right to appeal to the college level, but still we can take 3 years without writing to you. It means you will miss graduation. I said, eh? What came to my mind, I talked to my aunt, she's in America, coming back on Sunday. No, listen. I requested her, I told the aunt, maybe for you have a name. I'm sure I know why I've been dismissed from university. Maybe you can reach the VC because he has powers to order those people. He said, just talking about someone that they asked something you didn't give. Did they ask for evidence? They didn't. Yet I have a lot here. I move with them. And I've been planning to first meet the dean of students after to the VC. That's why I've used this chance to say these things here. Yes. Most of the leaders in this country, almost 90% went through Makerere. So do we say that we are groomed from here? So my request is, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I want to graduate. The list is yet to be out. The list is yet to be out. We are supposed to graduate in January. I would like to see my name on the list. I have evidences here. We are the younger generation who are ready to take this nation ahead. On the issue of corruption nationwide, I support Museveni, which is not a crime. I know Muzei is aged, he is now like a grandparent, he is not so strong. He may not do all the things, but let's fight corruption with evidence. don't say this speaker what. Present evidence. People are here. Reach out to them. So I went to meet the speaker. The speaker asked this. This is the evidence we are WhatsApping. They will have where to start from. But blackmailing people's name, corruption, what? Because of politics, ideologies, it's not good. For me, I believe we need a leader who is very, very strong to end corruption. And that's why for me I'm saying Muhoozi will do this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to you all. Yes, by name is Katongole Haruna, an awaiting graduate from SIS. The first thing I will talk about is that kindly let us stop sugarcoating big people. Starting from the moderator, stop sugarcoating this panel. And the panel, stop sugarcoating the big person. Are you getting me well?
If I can respond to you, you know, when you're moderating an event, you are supposed to be neutral. I'm a journalist trained from Makerere University. You get, we give hearing, listen, we give hearing to all parties. Now for me, I cannot assume a side when I'm moderating a debate. This is like a court. You make people make their cases. I hope that has been clarified, my brother.
Okay, thank you. But
you can proceed with your submission.
One-sided. So, my issue, I want to talk about corruption in a way that the government has failed to do effective tracking of public funds. Seriously, how can the government give out money to construct a certain road and that money is put in a budget every year and the road is not constructed? That is one thing. And the big person is seated comfortably. Are we together? The other thing I want to ask Colonel Edith Nakalema and General Isoke, corruption is not a political issue alone. Corruption is socially, economically, politically, in each and every perspective. Why is it that when a certain political party tries to deliberate on issues concerning corruption, it is pulled down? Are we together? If I'm to ask the professor kindly, if the NUP MAC chapter asked for this venue to stage an event concerning deliberation on matters of corruption, would it be allowed? That's a simple question. Let us not take corruption to be a political issue alone. Let us give these people chances to deliberate on issues concerning corruption. And Colonel Edith Nakalema, for the fact that you people have voices, kindly free those people that were arrested for issues of corruption. Are we together? Kindly free them.
I'm proud to have been trained by Makerere University for the second time. Meaning at master's level. Yes, the context of corruption has been highlighted in this country. If you look at Russia, forwarded its concept of anti-corruption in 1992, before most of us were born. Up to now, it is still puzzling with the issue. Now, we need a solution to corruption, not identifying corruption as a cause. Solution to corruption, I would conclusively say that it is all the government linings. I've never seen any private sector being corrupt. I'm in the private sector anyway. Now, before the parliamentarians, before this public office has taken or resumed in their offices, one of the key areas they need to actually check on is their were stands, because we actually find out that most of these people, when they came to the office, that's when they lobby these funds and they take it for their own personal gains. So they should check them on their wealth stand, how much they're earning, before joining the public offices. This one, all the people you have been seeing being taken up are in the political spacings, are in the government offices. So we have a solution, not actually finding another solution. Solution is investigate those people before taking up those offices. At what level were they? Their finances, where was it standing? And why is it that they resume or they took off, they fly over faster. For me, I come from Tororo, a very remote village, where if you find a rich person, you will take actually 3 kilometers to find someone with what? With iron sheet house. If it is there, then it is mud. It has muds around it. Yet people here are actually raising flats in the areas of Muyenga, in the areas of what? But it is us paying the taxes. Secondly, government projects are not evaluated. People are talking about a Myoga project, yet the money is being released, but they evaluate it. Nakalema, you were in Tororo, you took engineer and the rest, you follow up what they're doing now. You see, these are the issues we should actually pertain and actually address. Let us investigate these people. For them, you find somebody is in this local government, but has around 6 apartments in Kampala. In Igulu, how? The question is how is the question. Those people, we need to investigate them. Before them join those public offices, what has been their financial stand or the wealth? Anyway, my name is Kadokech, I come from Tororo. Thank you.
Thank you, Kadokech. The lady.
Thank you. As I earlier said, I'm Katsume Susan, District Female Youth Councillor for Kazo District. I did not board a bus early morning to just come and warm the seats. No way.
And someone said you were wasting time here to be here. That was very unfortunate.
It can't be. If we don't see the results, then you will see the reaction and maybe the action. Well, to start with is how the government projects compete with the private projects in terms of impact and funding. The two do not meet anywhere. Where the government is using 200 million for a 2-classroom block, a private school is using 200 million for a complete school structures. And long-lasting, I'm not talking about where the wind will come and then the roof is off. Those are for government schools, by the way. Private schools' roofings don't go off. Why? When I asked my cow about it, that's when I joined office in 21, he told me the government projects include monitoring, commissioning, launching. Of what impact, of what benefit are all those to the common people who pay taxes? You're monitoring, you're evaluating, you're commissioning, then before you notice it, 170 million are spent on a 2-room peatlands latrine. How? Like with all the needs we have. And then by the time you notice, in a financial year, one government school has only gotten 2 classroom blocks, only renovated. This is a school whereby some of them are still under the trees and all that kind of crap. So how, if we have the money as the government, we already have decentralization. That's why we have other districts, municipalities, and cities. Why don't we have this money being well utilized for the benefit of the common people? Where is empathy? We are tired of sympathy. Where the walls fall on us, and then you want to come back with partial bins for what? Disaster preparedness and all that. That's not what we are calling for. We are calling for empathy. Looking at our president, the loved one, yes, I love him so much. I was on State House scholarship for all my time. But my mother looked for it. She slept at the State House outside until she got that scholarship. Well, right now, we can look at the story where Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob when he thought Jacob was Esau. Right now, I'm sorry, I'm not good, but that is the state of our president. Many people come in front of him, forging to be good, forging to be implementing his ideology, which is a good one, but for their own benefit. You get that? They want to show him how they're working for people, when in actual sense, they're working for themselves. His ideology, if you're to look at it from the 1986 and all that, it is for people. He really thought about the people, the common people. But the people who have come after him, the people whom he has trusted power with, the ministers and all that, the people around him, are not for people. They're for themselves. So I'm wondering, is it still for God and my country, or it is for my stomach and my family and my house? Can we get back to the real ideology of Museveni, if we must really change something and not prioritize our own needs and selfish desires to grow, but for the people? And the last one, sorry for the time, but I told you I didn't board a bus to warm the seats. And the last one, why are we having the corrupt people being granted bail when those guys who were convicted for fighting against corruption are taking long in the jail? What is the impact? What is the essence there? Someone is being convicted of corruption and it is vivid, well evident, but then the same person is given bail. We do not see the evidence of the money being returned, and then we do not see the probe being investigated, and then we still say we are fighting corruption. To end with this, if we are fighting the same goal, let the peaceful protests be given a chance. Thank you.
So my question will go to the head of State House Anti-Corruption Unit, Brigadier General Henry Isoke. And it's driven from the President's remarks, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, on the 1st of December 2023. He said, and I quote, "If you only concentrate on the lifestyle audit, then the corrupt people will take out the money from the country and you have no evidence." So my question is, as the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, what strategies is the State House Anti-Corruption Unit considering to address the President's concerns about the lifestyle audit while still leveraging this tool to achieve Uganda's anti-corruption goals? Then also, some other question will be, like, I'm one of the people who has that mindset, I think, that there's already corruption in State House. For example, we have had someone talking about the State House scholarships. Her mother had to sleep outside State House. Like, we do not know which procedures are followed to give out these scholarships. At least I know 2 people who have these scholarships, who have ever got these scholarships. I've heard of the Secretary-General of NUP, David Lois Luongoya, and the second one was my sister from Kazu. So would you please tell us which procedures are followed in getting these scholarships? Who are entitled to them, and what processes are followed? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I stand on the protocol already observed. I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled for such an opportunity as this. I'm Tumwebaze Isaac by names, and I'm at CES, College of Education and External Studies. My question is, I would love to accredit the government for trying to fight corruption. You people, like, we criticizing these people because of corruption, they have not done enough and so on. Well, it's okay, but we should also accredit them for what they have done. At least they have tried their major part. It's not that all of them are bad, but as you know, it's always one tomato in the basket that always spoils the rest, right? What I want to ask is that, well, as they have tried, but whenever these people are taken to court over corruption, over different issues of corruption, there is what we call bail. Up to now, I'm failing to understand what is the essence of something called bail behind it all. I don't really understand. Is it a prerequisite for these people? Because when someone is given a bail, it's as if they have gone to advance their businesses out of the funds that they have taken from government. So please, I would like for clarification concerning that. Thank you so much.
My question is, Kano Nakalema, do the poor people have a place in this government? All in your government, because it's not my government, because I don't support NRM, I support NUP. Which is not bad. Actually, and the reason why I'm asking this is because I come from that side of Blenga, and when I'm coming, I come across swamps, and that will be G swamp. Nema people are deconstructing people's houses. And the fact is, companies, big companies like Sprim, Starbucks, Nansana, they are not deconstructed. But the poor people are suffering in this government. Why? Why? And actually, not all of you people who are in that government came from rich families. But you are squeezing the poor people to the wall. But I tell you, one day, one time, your turn will come.
Okay.
I'm a law student, and I'm going to address two issues briefly. Number one is, I'll begin with a quote. I do not know it verbatim, but there is a famous quote that has been going around, that it is the task of every generation to realize the challenges before it and choose whether they will address them or they will ignore them. Corruption is something that has actually been very consistent, and we need to understand the majority of the Ugandans are youth. But this majority of the youths are underrepresented, and what that means is that majority of our issues are not going to make it to the floor where laws and policies are made, where actions are taken. That's number one. Number two, even the people that go there, many of the times, resort to pleasing the government and they do not address the issues of the youth. That's number two. Number three, we need to understand that there is a shrinking civic space within the country, even within the university. Just last week, the Dean of Students released the letter that closed student gatherings. I'm a member of the debating union of Makerere. They have been advocating for intellectual discourse. Debating union is the forum which students have to address that. It cannot happen because gatherings were banned. And that is also happening at the national scene. We have a shrinking civic space. So by the time youths take up space to go to the streets, that means that they are out of choices and they are forced to the wall. And it is the result of those actions that we're actually having discourse on this matter. So my question in that regard, what are you doing to really listen to the voices of the youths, because they are really watching what is happening? But also number two, when you make recommendations to government to avert corruption, are you paying attention to things like thorough lifestyle audits for leaders before they enter leadership positions and afterwards? And also, can you look at the aspect of electoral financing, because it actually has a big role it plays to how people are going to handle finances once they enter into government. I rest.
Thank you.
And I think this is the right time for me to talk to the head of the Anti-Terrorism and Corruption Committee. Because these days at Makerere University, no one is safe. The moment you make any statement, you might end up finding a letter suspending you, expelling you. So I need to know, as the head of the anti-corruption, have you really done much to see that the resources of the country are being used to the right as they are allocated? Because here at Makerere, there is someone who noted that the guild, when I'm registering, I pay 20K to the guild house. But the money they get to finance student activities, they get like 300 M. Yet the total population at Makerere, the money that is collected is like 1.3 or 2. So I need to know whether really the anti-corruption doesn't operate in its public institutions like universities. Because we see at times they go into local governments, but we don't get reports. We just see news that maybe they have been into Namuwonge, but we are not seeing reports like the case went further and the person maybe was inducted for this and this, but we just see news. And I need to know, when are you coming to Makerere? Because we hear a lot of scandals into the Senate and the University Council. When are you coming here? We are not safe. We can't go onto Twitter to bring out these issues because we are not safe. So it's my humble request, maybe you can hit on that and we see how we can be future leaders when we are bold enough. Thank you.
My question, the first question goes to Colonel Judith Nakalema. One of our colleagues asked you whether the government is fighting against corruption, and you said yes. So my question is, in your report you said whenever you are fighting against corruption, you receive intimidation and warnings from above. So the question is, who are the aboves? So you explain to us whether the above are from the government or from the civilians, that you are the one intimidating you. So the second question is, given the widespread of corruption within the police, judiciary, and parliament, how do you plan to address the conflict of interest and ensure accountability among officials tasked with fighting corruption when themselves are implicated in the corrupt practices? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Yoko Tracy from the Mighty College of Seas. A question to the State House Anti-Corruption Unit. My concern is, what mechanisms have been put in place to protect the whistleblowers and those who report corruption. We've seen a lot of injustices portrayed to these people, and it is not nice. And I would like to disagree with someone who says we need evidence to fight against corruption. I don't think that is proper because these things are in front of our eyes. Why do we need evidence to speak against things that are not right in our country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Everest Kabele Taylor. When you get time, follow me on Twitter. Now, my submission is going to be more of informative. I'm not going to ask a lot of questions, but I would like to inform the panelists that Einstein said, he who does the same thing expecting different results, that person is not man enough to hold an office. Yes, Professor Nawangwe said that the government has tried its best to fight against corruption, but in actual sense, it has failed. Yes, it has tried, but it has failed. Now I think it's high time that maybe the government should rest its case and give it to the Gen Zs or give other capable people because it has failed. And I believe that it has failed. My other submission is, I would like to inform Mr. Masiga that from a youth perspective, corruption stifles creativity and ambition. Because why would I dream big, yet I know that the system is very crippled? Thank you very much.
The system is rigged. Okay.
Good afternoon. All protocol observed. I have been listening keenly, and mine is to point out a few things and give us a sustainable way forward.
In 1 minute, Honorable Minister.
If I could ask for 1.5.
Please try to make it fast.
Patriotism, middle class civil engagement, and government priorities. There is a quote that says that do not wait for government answers or opposition answers, but the right answer. When General Brigadier Isoke said that we need to speak facts, yes, there are facts that when I was watching a session of Parliament, when the Prime Minister was asked the question, why hire an ex-criminal? She said that why not entrust someone that has gone through a rehabilitation program? You use a criminal to capture a criminal. Not my words. Then the other thing is, a gentleman talked about why focus, why has the country, why has the governance focused more on politics than actually taking the money now to the middle class? Because it is the middle class that's working. But when you put a lot of attention and put yourselves in spotlight as people that are governing the country, and you put a lot of emphasis on the politics, the money is always moving into politics. We see MPs in Parliament are now clocking, if they have not clocked 1 trillion shillings of the budget. And yet you're leaving intern doctors to suffer. And as well as talk about increasing salary for policemen, and yet you haven't found the money to cater for that. You cannot have talk about a budget of 72 trillion, and yet you have only raised 6 or 8 trillion in the first quarter. What are government priorities? What are your priorities as government? These things of the gentleman talked about this being a waste of time. I would like to modify his statement and give it a clear perspective. What he meant was, is this dialogue going to yield anything? Because why are you waiting for us to speak about it, to act on it? Yet you see what is going on, and you know what is going on in the reports of the IGG. Now, why have very many anti-corruption units, and yet you're trying to see that you're dissolving different entities and taking them back to ministries as what they have been doing, and at the same time you come up in the morning and say, I've formed this other anti-corruption unit, and at the same time, you hire assistant RDCs. It doesn't make sense. What you should do as now something that's sustainable, the problem is morality, ethics and integrity. Bring back political education. Put it together with ethics and integrity. Make it a whole course unit on its own. A program, actually, not a course, a program. So that we nurture the leaders in the right ways, other than spending money on teaching people patriotism, yet you can actually, which is expensive in the long run, yet you can actually bring it as a program and nurture leaders in the next generation properly. There is a gap between, and there is a huge gap in age between those that are leading the country and us, and we are 70%. We consist of 70% youth. Let us take up these positions. Bring back political education, introduce ethics and integrity as a program on its own, nurturing young leaders, and also, this is a one-off. This dialogue seems to be a one-off. We should think about giving, I know there are several television stations here. You see, me, I watch a lot of Frontline. NBS has captured me of recent. Frontline, they talk about issues. Why can't we have that platform for youth? And not only guild leaders, because not everyone we send to that, to lead the students knows what touches the students. You know, we look at the parliament and you see some MPs never say anything. You know, there is a quote that says that politics becomes a dangerous game when those that can lead, send those that cannot lead into power. Can't we form a platform for youth? Or all televisions come up with a platform for youth, a program, every once a week to discuss 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes, to discuss about these things and come up with a resolution in every show. And we see this being acted, because we might give you our suggestions right now, and you just cover the book and we continue business as normal.
Not it,
that's being said, and lastly, and I think the most important, I think right now we should go back and ask for what they talked about, the lifestyle audit. If you want to fight corruption, come up. Actually, even if it is possible, that should be the agenda. The lifestyle audit, and if you capture people and you put them into a detainment as you're investigating them about corruption, confiscate all their assets, freeze their accounts, as those whites do. Can't we apply those things and have stable growth? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. All protocol observed. My name is Nawangwe Daniel, a student at the College of Education and External Studies doing a Bachelor of Science in Education. Now, in the first place, I would just like to thank the people who came up with this initiative of the cost of corruption in socio-economic transformation. But then I ask them a question. Did they bring it up to help people, or they brought it up to show people that they are fighting corruption? Because we have seen that it's not the first of a kind. Things have been propping up each and every time. But still, after all the issues that have been brought up, things go back to normal. The time we shall live here, when you go out there, things are going to go back to normal. So is it just a showcase offer to show us that they're fighting corruption, or it is a thing that they're really thinking about and they want to start implementing the anti-corruption policies in Uganda? Thank you.
My submission goes to Colonel Edith Nakalema. One, what programs do you have for people whom you hijack from other political parties, like Mr. Moderator and the other people, the Nobert Maus, the NRMs, to first break them down and reintegrate them, other than just coming up, giving them big sums of money, and they come and tell that they love NRM more than the cadres that have been there. Thank you.
From the ministry, I would like to know, what measures are you putting in place to ensure that when we apply for jobs, they have not already been given to people and they're just following the formalities for the application process? That's one. Secondly, to our dearest esteemed military officers, I would like to request, is it possible for us to actually have a peaceful protest protected by the military? Because we had the president say that some elements were trying to disrupt the security of the country. And we just had the Kampala Defense and Security Expo that ended a day ago. So can we have the military protect us and we peacefully protest as we are marching towards Parliament? Is that possible? And then the last one would be, is it possible? This one goes to either, actually yes, to the State House Anti-Corruption Unit. Is it possible for you to actually appeal to the president? Let's make an example. We've had parliamentarians get in front of people and they're saying, it's better for you to steal and share with your people instead of not stealing. We've had people who have blatantly gone out and shown that they've been corrupt, but nothing's happening to them. And that's why you're finding it's trickling down into us. We're accepting that corruption is a fact of life. So can we have an example made of some of the big fish so that we can actually instill fear into the population and corruption can be done away with?
Thank you so much, Mr. Coordinator or Modulator. At this point in time, I would like to use this opportunity to salute to our guests and all the entire students fraternity. My name is Motebi Nathan. I'm a year 2 student from the College of Education and External Studies. These are some of the measures I would like to give to our task force for anti-corruption unity. One of the measures is to have practical involvement to fight against corruption. So this practical involvement is how. So I would wish Kano, maybe during night hours, during night, before maybe moving in Kamela to Plov, is Mulago Hospital doing well? You would have done such maybe to Plov by yourself. You try to pass before informing them. You reach in Makerere, maybe maybe you want to know how are these things real. Maybe are these things real true, what they are telling these students. So you come maybe during night hour, maybe in your free time, you try to pass, because some of the issues that are true, these great Makererians, all intellectuals are saying. The second measure would be, I would request, there is a say in law that who alleges must prove. Someone is claiming is swallowing 500 million. He or she, we need to prove. This is where the lifestyle audit, as one of my colleagues were trying to explain, should be applied. You are claiming you have 200 million in your pocket. You are my father. Show the proof. Where did you get the 200 million, if not 500? So this is also, this would be a question to our administrators. I'm finishing up.
Concluding, my dear brother.
As year students, as year 2 students, we all pay tuition, majority, private and government. But there are issues like what you call red gowns. The year 2 students, none is having a gown. And yet we paid for this money. So I think our dean of students around, maybe we'll try to clarify more on that, because we paid our money already to zero. No one is allowed to enter the examination room to zero without being your balance to zero. But we already paid for this money. We want to get explanation on that. Then the last measure to use is to all believe. We are all believers, majority here. Before we do each and every measure here, we have to make God first. We pray for our country so that corruption can end immediately. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
My concern goes to you, Kano Nakalema.
In the era or reign of Jacob Zuma in South Africa, they put a commission of the Zondo Commission to fight against corruption, and it was against the Gupta family with Jacob Zuma's presidency. So this commission tried its level best to fight against the corrupt people and each corrupt concern. I want to ask you, Kano, it has been asked by my fellow students, which measures have you put in practice that you've tried to fight against corruption? Because for me, when I look through, corruption isn't going anywhere. Since I started hearing corruption, I don't see any change. Corruption is still there. In offices, people who are there, it's like most of them they are not well trained, but they own positions, and majority of them are there because of corruption. Thank you.
Allow me to express my deepest gratitude and incredible privilege to be with you today. First of all, my name is Lagor Nobad. I'm a year 2 student, School of Agricultural Science. Brigadier General, I have stand up to make a remarks. First of all, it will go like a request to your board. Why is it that if young people are executing their grievances, if young people who are marching so that they should go and articulate their grievances, the military tankers and of course the military operative are deployed to threaten and suppress the intellectualism? Secondly, to my fellow young people, this is not the first time we are having this kind of discussion and perpetual dialogue against corruption. It has been done long time ago in this country. And it's not going to be a fight against corruption, but it's going to be the change of our own attitude to stop corruption. We came a long way as young people, and we know that if change is going to be ignited in this country, then it's upon us to step up and remake those changes. We need our daring, we need our enthusiasm, and our collective understanding to bring about those changes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I see that corruption, we still have corruption here. And according to how I've seen the views of the students, it is very clear that the people who are corrupt are known. They are known, yes, because we are having contradictions between the president, and now you see our Kano here and our
Brigadier General.
Yes, and our brigadier, yes, General, is also here, and I'm seeing that he is the head of State House on Anti-Corruption Unit. Yes, but what our president says contradicts with what these people are supposed to do. So my recommendation is, please, since these people, according to how we've seen, are known, let us go to them. We advise them to at least regulate their money they eat. Let them regulate. Because corruption is still here, I assure you. And another thing, what are departments of monitoring and evaluation doing? Because I did my internship here at TASO, and there was a department of monitoring and evaluation. They have all the data, they have everything that it takes. They make reports, they do everything. And evaluation is like checking if the institutions are producing results. If they are not producing results, then what are they doing? You get? So we have statisticians here who are selling jazzes. You get? Recently here, we are studying, we have a course unit called monitoring and evaluation. It is about project management, how you start a project, how you make sure that the results are implemented and all that. We have statisticians who are selling jazzes there outside, and that is what our professor is saying, that we empower ourselves. Is it what he's saying, that we have people from Makerere University that are...
That's close.
Let me finish. People at Makerere University that are employing themselves. Is it what they are saying, selling jazzes? You get? And yes, I appreciate the government's effort to make sure that we start our own businesses by Emyoga and all that stuff. But have they checked to see if these parish chiefs are giving that money to the people? I'm telling you, at our place there, and I've been told by my friends, my comrades, that you submit your details there so that you get that money, but you have to pay like 50K. If you don't pay it, your details will not go there. You get? So the issue is about maybe laziness. I can call it laziness. People are lazy. So with those few.
Thank you. Thank you very
few,
much.
allow-
Let's close it there.
Allow me to thank God for this wonderful time that we have before us. Thank you so much, the guests and our chief guest, for coming. I appreciate Makerere University for the hosting, National Youth Council, Uganda National Students Association, and then the Nationwide Dialogue Committee for pulling up this event. The Dean of Students, Makerere, the Guild President, and all the leadership of Makerere, and the student leaders from across this city. My name is Okot Francis, the 34th President of UNSA, that is Uganda National Students Association. I've been a Guild President at Gulu University, now serving in this office. Allow me to perform this task of handing over the microphone to our guest, Colonel Edith Nakalema. But before that, allow me to say a single sentence. The fight against corruption, it's systemic, just as the problem. We have been talking about corruption so much our entire life, but what I want to say is, as Uganda National Student Association and the young people here in this room, you need to start the fight from within your vicinity. Where you come from, that is home, the course that you're doing, the college you're coming from, and your friends. Let me give a very organic and simple example. Majority of us, if not all, have been in boarding schools. Your mom is visiting you on the visitation day. The school does not permit edibles like cooked food in the school. But here your mom comes with a can of daddies. But for you inside there, you know there is something that has been covered in the daddies. The school will treat it like they've brought for you daddies. But inside, there is a drumstick that has been covered in the daddies. That is corruption at the cheapest level of a homestead. And you appreciate it, it is love. Every single thing that we do starts from internal. That is why we are embarking on a campaign as the young people with the theme called Clean Conscience. Start when you have a clean hand. When you have clean hands, your conscience will be clean. A man with 3 wives one time had issues with the wives. And the wives reported him to the clan. So when the clan leaders gathered to handle the issue, he said, before we go further, allow me to make a statement. If you are here in this meeting and you know you don't have more than 1 wife, get out. Everyone was looking at each other. So that man only remained with 1 man who was having 2 wives. He had 3. And then he said, I mentioned that because you with 1 wife do not know the problem of the people with 2 wives and above. So for you to make a case in these issues of corruption and point fingers, your conscience must be as clean as you say. So I call on all us, the young people, the fight begins from us, and it continues like that. This generation, we cannot change much, but our generation, we can build something pure, something that we can depend on and grow with us. Thank you so much. Allow me to take this time to invite you, Colonel Edith. You're always having a listening here to us. Thank you.